Sometimes we get to a point where we've worked so hard and have been so diligent in ministry, and yet it seems like we're not getting the results we anticipated. That can become very discouraging, and it is at times like this that it's very easy to give up. However, I believe that our assignment from God have both good and bad days, but in the end we'll be victorious. For I heard the Apostle Paul said that, and we know that all things work together for the good of them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. However, when we start with the first verse of this particular chapter, we note that the preaching of Jesus had such an impact on the people until they followed him to the shore of Lake Gennesaret. In the second verse, we find that Jesus observed two ships standing by the shore, but special attention is given to the fishermen not being in the boats. Instead, they were somewhere washing their nets. The washing of the nets, brother preachers, symbolize that these fishermen were done for this particular time. Even though they had no success, they called it quits. My brothers and sisters, how many of us have been in predicaments like this? Things didn't go the way we planned and we called it quits. Auxiliary leaders complain that committee members won't cooperate, so they tender their resignation. Churches are not growing the way we envisioned, so we quit for a season. We become content with the status quo. We stop coming up with aggressive plans. We stop having revivals. We stop attending prayer. We don't invest time or money in outreach programs, or we just sit there and become comfortable preaching to the same people Sunday after Sunday. Allow me to note that these boats were detained by anchors at the shore of the lake. In other words, they were not totally out of the way of possible action, but they were detained by anchors. An anchor is a device, usually of metal, attached to a ship or boat by a cable to hold it in a particular place. How many of our churches, brothers and sisters, are being held in place by anchors? Well, may I submit to you that many anchors almost look like crosses, but they ain't crosses. Allow me to describe some anchors. There are anchors of yesteryears, where we're always talking about what the church used to be. We're always talking about how we used to operate and holding possible progress of the church hostage to what we used to be. The anchor of we're moving too fast, always saying, let's wait on that. The anchor of apathy, where we've lost the zeal to do anything. The anchor of complacency, where we are not aware of what's going on around us and we become satisfied where we are. And then, and this is not all, but there is the anchor of let the young folk do it. History records that one of these ships belonged to Simon Peter and Andrew, and the other to Zebedee and his two sons, James and John. However, we must note that these men had taken great pride in their occupation and wanted to be sure that they did not leave their instruments dirty for future possibilities. My brothers and sisters, I think that we should commend these brothers, if you will, for washing their nets, because it is unrealistic to ponder using dirty instruments for ministry. I wonder I wonder how many of us are viewed as being clean enough to be used for ministry. I'm finding out that many who appear to be in ministry have not been thoroughly washed. I'm going to get in trouble here, Bishop.